After 4 years with Erik in charge, a new era is beginning at Ajax. Not only has there been a manager change, but also some notable departures from the squad, with Sebastian Aller joining Borussia Dortmund for 31 million. Bayern have picked up 2 Ajax talents, with exciting prospect Ryan Gravenberch for 18.5 million and Nusar Mazraoui on a free transfer. Andre Onana also leaves on a free as he joins Inter in Serie A. There are some other transfers that are heavily rumored, if not completed by the time this video goes live. Looks like Manchester United will be bringing in Lisandro Martinez. Wasn't able to get that transfer offer in this save. Lyon and Brighton are the front runners for Nicolas Tagliafico. He's going to be making a transfer to Ligue 1 as he joins PSG. To begin this rebuild, we have 35 million in our transfer budget, but I wanted to reflect a couple of moves that Ajax have made, starting with the 31.25 million transfer of Steven Bergwijn. Previously a part of the Ajax Youth Academy system, he got his senior debut with PSV before spending the last 2 seasons at Spurs. Kind of cool to see him back in Amsterdam. The signing of Owen Wijndal for 10 million from AZ can't be understated. Personally, I thought he would have transferred outside of the Netherlands, but this move is going to strengthen the Ajax squad and their defense massively. There is some controversy surrounding Brian Broby's potential return back to Ajax. After leaving the club on a free to RB Leipzig in 2021, he spent a short-term loan back in Amsterdam. Now all of a sudden Leipzig want 25 million in order to see his permanent transfer to Ajax. If that were to happen, I think it would need to be for a significantly lower sum. We ended up paying 7.5 million to complete the move. I think it'll be very interesting to see if Ajax can maintain their dominance in the Eredivisie and even continue to reach the latter stages of the Champions League. For this first season, I've placed them in the same group they had last year. Keep in mind they were one of 3 teams to win all 6 of their group stage matches. But part of Ajax's philosophy is to give youth academy players a chance. We'll have an opportunity to do that with our homegrown talent. Alexander Peters is a Dutch center midfielder, 72 overall with potential of 75 to 94. For starters, I'm going to be putting him on this box-to-box development plan, as I could see him being a future replacement for Gravenberch. For whatever reason, we only start with a 4-star youth academy scout. We're going to be changing that immediately, signing a 5-star scout, not only once, but twice. And for this first season, we're going to be establishing networks in the Netherlands. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but also in Belgium, as there are 2 Belgian center backs that come to mind that got their start at Ajax's youth academy. Toby Alderweireld, currently at Royal Antwerp, and Jan Vertonghen, now at Benfica. Our final network will be in Denmark for 9 months. The youth academy graduate that is in the news lately as he completed his signing to Manchester United is Christian Eriksen. We'll check back on some of those youth academy signings at a later time, but for now, we'll see our season start in the Eredivisie. Here is the starting 11. Again, I could see a lot of variations of this 4-3-3 formation, but Dusan Tadic will be our current striker. As far as Daley Blind goes, he actually gets an upgrade in his rating at both center defensive mid and center back. We'll be using him at center back in this save. With ambitions for us to win the title, I'm not going to lie, it was a disappointing first half of the season. Second place, 2 points behind PSV. Also seeing a first round exit in the Oranje Beker, and finishing 3rd in our Champions League group. A lot of surprises in the group stage with Dortmund finishing last, but at least we've got the Europa League to look forward to as we'll start competing in the preliminary rounds. But it was apparent that we needed to make an upgrade at the goalkeeper position. And another former player that I think would be a great addition for Ajax is Jasper Cillessen. He's getting limited minutes at Valencia. Despite that, he has maintained a respectable rating, and it will definitely be an upgrade for us as he completes the signing for 10 million, which was a bargain because it looks like he had his contract expiring at season's end. Because we've added another goalkeeper, Stecklenburg can head back to England, even if it would have been nice for him to retire with Ajax. But we've already managed to find a number of exceptional talents in our youth academy. Justin Molenaar is a 70 rated Dutch left winger. His potential already quite high at 89 to 94. Perhaps we've got the next great keeper at Ajax with Vince de Vos, a Belgian talent already at a 65 overall, 79 to 94 potential. We'll be trying to loan them out straight away and hopefully they can get an upgrade in their rating. But here is our starting 11 for the Europa League. We'll be starting in the preliminary rounds with a 3-0 win away from home against Lillestrøm. We'll follow that up with a clean sheet in the second leg despite being down to just 10 players. And we're through to the round of 16 against Marseille. We lose our home fixture 1-0, but an impressive showing in the second leg, another 3-0 result, courtesy of a brace from Dusan Tadic and Berghuis opening up the scoring. That means we'll face Real Sociedad in the quarterfinals, and we'll keep the clean sheets and goals going in this first leg 2-0 away from home, but surprisingly, Real Sociedad with an impressive comeback. To force extra time and penalty kicks, we will end up winning 4-2 on penalties, and that means we'll face another Spanish opponent with Real Betis. It's a good thing we're able to score lots of goals because our defense hasn't been the best as of late. Hopefully turning that around for the final as we manage a clean sheet in the second leg, advancing 7-2 on aggregate. AC Milan being our opponent in the final, and that will be our final match of the season. It seems like the improvements we made in January was enough for us to turn things around in the league as we finish top of the Eredivisie. That's one trophy checked off in this save, but we want to follow that up with some success in Europe, as our goal will be to eventually win the Champions League with Ajax. I want to make the most out of any cup final, as it's unlikely we're going to see the same starting 11 from year to year. It's just the Ajax way. As players get a higher profile, they tend to move on to other clubs in Europe. I think that's part of what makes an Ajax career mode special. You're going to see a lot of turnover in your squad, and despite facing those challenges, you still see a lot of success. Speaking of success, we do open up the scoring with Dusan Tadic 15 minutes in, and I'm not sure what was going on with the Milan defense. They were giving us way too much space in front of goal, as Berghaus a couple of minutes later nearly doubles our lead. But shout out to Klaassen. He was just instrumental in creating a lot of these chances. Not sure what that was for Tomori, as it nearly leads to another goal for us. But into the second half, and it's our right back, Wrench, finding Antony. He lofts it across, and now Berghaus will get his goal. We are in the driver's seat. We're looking to even add a third as we continue with these highlights, and option to make a substitution featuring our homegrown talent Peters for the remainder of this second half. He's going to get involved right away, and over the top through ball to Berghaus, and that is going to be 2 goals for him on the day, and Peters' first assist for the club. 3-0 for Ajax, and this is where momentum started to turn around. A few mistakes out of the back. There's only so much that Silesen can do trying to close down the space, as Rafael Leao gets 1 goal back for the Italian Giants. We're into the 2 minutes of added extra time, and it's Leao again who gets an effort on target. Salamakers scoring on the rebound, but really not enough time for Milan to get back into things. It'll end 3-2, and this Europa League title is one that I think will mean a lot to Ajax fans, as they did lose out in this competition in the 16-17 season against Manchester United in the final. Well, that's a double for Ajax. It would have been nice to make things 3, but it's AZ who win the Oranje Beker after we saw that first round exit. Liverpool going on to win the Champions League against Manchester City. And it's a very interesting Conference League final as Spurs defeat PSV 3-0. Despite already seeing a decline in his rating, Tadic was a huge part of our success this season. 28 goals across 46 appearances. He also led the way in assists with 15. Also the only player in the Eredivisie to have 20 plus goals. But I think we're on the right path for this career mode. A plus 14 in Molinar's rating, as he will likely play a role at some point in the future. Peters going up plus 5 over the course of this season. We managed to find some additional players over the second half of the season. Carlson is a Danish left back, 66 overall, potential of 80 to 94. Another Dane with Frederik Koch, 66 rated, 83 to 94 potential for this center attacking mid. A Belgian striker, as Justin Francois may be a player for the future, 61 rated, 87 to 93 potential. We'll close things out with Nikolai Jason, another Danish player. He's a left winger, 55 overall, 87 to 93 potential. Surprisingly, no change to our manager rating, but I feel like we could accomplish a lot in Season 2 of this rebuild. While there have been some improvements to this Ajax squad, we have to keep in mind that some departures are bound to happen. But first, we'll cover board expectations. In a perfect world, we're going to reduce player wages, but the main priority will be to focus on these critical objectives of repeating in the Eredivisie, winning the Oranje Beker, and now reaching the final of the UEFA Champions League. And it's not going to be an easy pathway to get there, as we have Liverpool, Benfica, and Malmo in the group stage. Roughly 90 million in our transfer budget. After consecutive seasons at Ajax where he's put up impressive numbers, there has been Premier League interest for Antony. Chelsea lead the way for those rumors, but I would never count Liverpool out of that, as they're going to complete the 150 million signing for their new number 10. And at the start of this year's transfer window, it seemed likely that Timber was set to leave Ajax for Manchester United. Things obviously went a different way, but I found this offer to be very interesting, especially considering they included Donny van de Beek, one of our former players, as part of the swap deal. We'll just be accepting the transfer fee though, United having to pay 80 million for the Timber departure. But this next transfer is one that I'm very excited about. He's the player on the thumbnail. It's Luis Suarez. Currently a free agent IRL, he's looking to move to a club with Champions League football. We can offer him that here at Ajax. He is also a former player from 2007 to 2011. We did have to pay 30 million for this transfer, but I think it is going to be a great storyline move and hopefully will give us more goals scored moving forward. Santiago Simon is a versatile talent from River Plate, which is actually the club that Suarez was rumored to leave to before they were knocked out of Copa Libertadores. Listed as a right midfielder slash center midfielder, he can play anywhere down the right side of the pitch. And that versatility is exactly what we need here at the club. We ended up having to pay a significantly higher transfer fee than I was expecting, as the club was only allowing us to pay his release clause. Another interesting transfer to close out the summer window with Mickey van de Ven. He actually rejected a move to Ajax in 2020, choosing to stay at his original club, Volendam, before his eventual departure to Wolfsburg, where he hasn't featured quite as much. As we have some aging center backs, I think it's important that we think about the future, so this 6.3 million arrival will be great, especially if he can fulfill that great potential he currently has. But we are once again ready to begin our Eredivisie season and also compete in the UEFA Super Cup against Liverpool. It'll be a good test because they are in our Champions League group, and we can better familiarize ourselves with this new squad before that competition kicks off. A couple of position changes with Tadic shifting to center attacking mid, giving him a +2 in his rating. And I figured Peters would better fit the center attacking mid role. That gave him a +1 in his overall. Here is that fixture against Liverpool. I was hoping that Antony might feature for them, but it doesn't look like he did. It's worth noting that Molnar, one of our Youth Academy promoted players from last year, ended up scoring a brace, so he could be our next big talent. Let's see if that good start to the season can carry us through to January. We had a setback with Suarez picking up an injury. I left him out for 2 to 3 months, but we are still top of the Eredivisie standings, 6 points clear of PSV, and that was largely because we secured 1-0 results against both Feyenoord and PSV, who are always going to give us the most competition. But a good outing in the Champions League group stage, 2 losses, but we still finished with 12 points. Also a single point clear of Liverpool. Our current starting 11 is a balancing act. We have a good combination of experienced players that are starting to drop in their overall ratings, like Suarez and Tadic, but we've also got players for the future that are thriving. Even to the extent that I think Spurs had some regrets from the Bergwijn transfer, trying to bring him back to the club, but we of course rejected that offer. And a couple of more prospects for our youth academy. Moving forward, these are just going to be a network set up in the Netherlands. Van der Meer is a 67 rated right winger with 67 to 91 potential. Bogaard, a 61 rated left winger with 84 to 94 potential. And Van Dongen, another 61 rated player, this time a striker with 73 to 94 potential. But into the knockout stages of Champions League we go, starting with a fixture against Real Sociedad, who we faced in the Europa League, and it seems like our previous experience paid off as we secured a 4-2 victory on aggregate, facing RB Leipzig in the quarterfinals. Another winning result in the first leg, and away from home, we compounded that to another big victory. Things ended 4-0, all 4 of those goals coming from the first half. The semifinals tend to be where Ajax end their Champions League run. We'll try to change that, but first we can cover some other results. The Oranje Beker final being played in April 2023 against AZ, who I believe won the competition last season. It's great to see that we were able to turn things around this year. The signing of Suarez proving the difference with that 90th minute goal. And that is another competition checked off in this rebuild. Even more importantly, that gives us some momentum going into this Champions League semi-final. Things end 1-1 in the first leg, but unfortunately it will be heartbreak in the second leg. We again will see our run in the Champions League and in the semifinals. Little to our surprise, we do also win the Eredivisie, 10 points clear of PSV. So that's 3 trophies for us this year if we count the UEFA Super Cup. Maybe it's for the better in this rebuild as it allows us to push on for a couple more seasons. PSG do go on to win the Champions League final against Manchester City. Leicester winning the Europa League final against Atletico Madrid, and it's West Ham to defeat Athletic Club Bilbao in the Conference League final on penalties. Berghuis stepped up as the club top goal scorer, scoring 27 from 48, and again was the only player in the Eredivisie to score 20 plus goals. Tadic playing a slightly different role now that he's shifting to center attacking mid, getting more involved in the assist front, but I'm happy to report that we can finally promote Koch to the senior squad. We're going to loan him out at the start of season 3. Speaking of which, we'll need to meet a lot of our objectives next year to avoid being fired. All things considered, a treble-winning season and reaching the semi-finals of Champions League is a huge accomplishment, but for rebuild standards, there's more work to do. I think it's established that we need to stay as the best team in the Netherlands and continue to strive for reaching the final of Champions League. Our group this season will consist of Manchester City, Porto, and Celtic. All the player departures we've had will mean that our transfer budget continues to go up about 150 million this season. And basically, anytime I received an offer for Manchester United, I almost always accepted it. Whether Erik ten Hag will continue to go this route in future seasons with United is yet to be seen. But for now, Edson Alvarez will be leaving for 55 million. As a replacement, I think Mohamed Kamara could be that guy. It's rumored that he's going to go to the Premier League with teams like Leeds being linked. But in this save, he's still at RB Salzburg, and I think it's time for him to move on to a new club. 35 million isn't all that much, especially for a player that's easily going to exceed his potential with development plans. So we've probably got a long-term center defensive mid here. Davinson Sanchez's time at Ajax was short, but it was eventful. He arrived for about 5 million and left for 45 million to Spurs. It's debatable whether he's lived up to that hype fully, but he's still a quality player, has moved to La Liga in this save, and I think he deserves Champions League football. 27.5 million is what we had to spend. Again, not using the entirety of our full transfer budget. I would say slowly but surely this Ajax squad is starting to contend for the latter stages of Champions League. We will see if we have held up results in January. A slight drop in league performance, but still only 4 points off of PSV for the top spot in the Eredivisie. However, we have another first-round exit from the Oranje Beker. Granted, PSV are always going to be a tough side. But us and Manchester City dominated the group stage of Champions League, finishing equal on points. I think we also split results, meaning that it came down to goal differential. You will notice some changes, though, to our starting 11. Broby has taken over at the starting striker spot. Suarez, I really feel like that injury set him back. Now down to a 77 overall rating, and with his contract expiring within 6 months, he wasn't willing to retire, so I was open to receiving offers. It's likely that he'll finish his career at Lille, leaving at the start of next season. But our round of 16 opponent in the Champions League will be Chelsea. At home, we pick up a 2-0 result. Broby showing why he earned that starting striker role. 3 goals across 2 matches and 4-0 on aggregate, putting us up against City in the quarterfinals. It's a group stage rematch, and it was always going to be a close fixture. 1-1 in the first leg. Second leg going into extra time. But City were the better team, so our Champions League hopes come to an end again. Slightly making up for that is a swift recovery in the Eredivisie. 6 points clear of PSV, so we must have had a spectacular second half of the season. We'll again lose out to the eventual Oranje Beker winners with PSV winning the final 1-0. Recapping Champions League, we saw an exit in the quarterfinals with Real Madrid defeating Manchester United as they continue to be a force in this rebuild. Barcelona picking up the Europa League title against PSG, and Wolfsburg defeating Aston Villa in the Conference League final. Berghuis will continue to be the top goal scorer in back-to-back years, also leading the Eredivisie in that category. Peters also thriving in the midfield, double digits for assists. Note that Daley Blind with 9 assists from the center back position. Haven't had too many updates in the youth academy front, but we have one additional signing with Nick Vermeulen, a 64 rated Dutch goalkeeper with 84 to 94 potential. We've seen a significant hit to our manager rating, and you've got to wonder how much longer we can stay at the helm without winning Champions League. I think Season 4 will go down as the year that more of our Youth Academy players got a chance in the starting 11. That's partly because some players like Tadic and Blind are getting older, but also to help fulfill some of these board objectives. It's really a balancing act as we try to reach the latter stages of Champions League. We again don't have an easy group with PSG, Athletic Club Bilbao, and Fenerbahce. Our transfer budget, though, will not be a problem. 128 million remaining. And we're going to start the signings with Pascal Struijk. I'm excited to see how he'll fit into Jesse Marsch's plans, but in this save, he's transferred over to Eibar because there aren't as many Dutch center backs. I felt like this was a necessary signing to make. I believe we went ahead and paid his release clause of 33.6 million, which in this point in the rebuild isn't a bad fee. to pay. You might have noticed from the board expectations that we have to sign 3 players from North America. Ajax do have some history with signing American players, and there's even more history with the Liga. Serginho Dest having transferred to Barcelona. We're going to kind of go the other way around with Hoppy leaving La Liga to join us in the Eredivisie, signing for 17.5 million. There will be a total of 3 transfers out. Klaassen still has a few prime years ahead, so we'll see what he can do as he returns to the Premier League. Drami, not fulfilling his potential, will be leaving to Benfica for 22.5 million. The same can be said about Per Shores. Not a bad player, but not part of my future plans, so he'll be heading to Greuther Fürth for 15 million. A slightly later start to the season in August, but not too many changes to our starting 11. The main one being in our defense, as Struik takes over at left center back and replaced for Blind. And we'll see results in January. Once again, it's a battle between us and PSV for the top spots. As things stand, we are second, also finishing second in the Champions League group stage, equal on points with Athletic Club Bilbao, but we'll have the head-to-head advantage. There's no need for changes to our starting 11, but similar to Suarez, Blind had his contract expiring at season's end. Apparently he has no plans of retiring, so he's going to be heading to Eibar at season start next year. Our knockout stage journey in the Champions League will begin against Lazio. We pick up a 1-0 result at home and a similar result away, putting us through 2-0 on aggregate and facing Juventus in the quarterfinals. Another 1-0 scoreline to kick things off, and we are just being dominant on the defensive front as we manage another clean sheet. That means we're through to the semifinals, facing Milan, our opponent from the Europa League final in Season 1. They'll pick up a 1-0 win in the first leg and a 1-1 scoreline in the second leg. The semifinal curse in Champions League continues as we just can't reach the final in this rebuild. But our streak of Eredivisie titles will be continuing as we finish 3 points clear of PSV. Getting an exit in the semifinals of the Oranje Beker with AZ winning that competition once again. I'm curious to see who wins the Champions League, and it was the team that defeated us. Milan getting the better of Real Madrid in a very eventful Champions League final. Bayern will pick up the dub against Manchester United in the Europa League final, and Sevilla defeating Fiorentina in Conference League. I think it's the 3rd season now that Berghaus is the top goal scorer. Surprised the rating that he's been able to reach, also leading the club in assists. And I was hoping we could have Tadic for the entirety of this rebuild and bring a Champions League title home to Ajax, but unfortunately he is retiring at season's end. A slight improvement in our manager rating, but still a lot of work to be done at the club. Some more modifications to our starting 11 as we try to find the winning formula. I think the biggest change is including Kenneth Taylor in the lineup. He just recently signed a new contract with Ajax for the next several years, and he's always going to have some great potential in career mode. As far as the Champions League goes, I think we've shown that we can get out of the group stage. This time we've got Atletico Madrid, Porto, and Galatasaray to worry about. It's going to be about 125 million in our transfer budget for this season, and I thought maybe switching things up at the goalkeeper position would give us some more luck. Some rumors a few months ago had Lunin joining the Eredivisie, especially as Ajax seeked a replacement for Onana. That never quite happened, but we're going to complete the signing on a permanent basis for 45 million. The ex-Real Madrid goalkeeper might be the difference maker. And we also have one transfer out of the club. Mohamed Kudus hasn't quite reached the potential that I was hoping and expecting of, considering how good he was in last year's FIFA. But for the most part, I think we just need to have results go in our favor moving forward. Hopefully carrying forward some success in the league and translating that to success in the Champions League. January 2026, and we once again find ourselves top of the Eredivisie, 10 points clear of both AZ and PSV, along with Heracles, and another second place finish in the Champions League group stage. Atletico Madrid proving to be one of the better sides in career mode. Our choice to upgrade at goalkeeper, I think, has been a big reason why we've been successful, even going up +1 in Lunin's rating. And as we move forward to the round of 16 of the Champions League, we'll start with RB Leipzig. A clean sheet in the first leg and a 1-0 lead. But in the second leg, things turned around. Leipzig scoring 3 goals. We only managed the single goal, so we will be eliminated 3-2 on aggregate. And it was a pretty uneventful Season 5. Well, again, repeat in the Eredivisie, going on to win the Oranje Beker as well. So a good season as far as competitions in the Netherlands, but some work to be done in the Champions League. Barcelona go on to win the final against Atletico Madrid, Getafe defeating Marseille in the Europa League, and Arsenal getting the dub against Henk in the Conference League final. Another season with Berghaus as the top goal scorer. A sad day though, as he is starting to drop in his rating. Fortunately, we've got some good prospects for the future, like Peters, who led the club in assists. And our manager rating is as low as it's ever been. Things need to get better in Season 6. Patience was starting to run out both personally and from the board. The only thing that was keeping me motivated in this save was some of our younger players starting to reach the upper end of their potential. As far as our Champions League group, I think this is the easiest group stage we've had so far with Arsenal, Getafe, and CFR Cluj. No significant changes to our transfer budget, still about 125 million. And I tried to keep him in this Ajax squad as long as possible, but once he started to reach these sort of ratings, Devin Wrench definitely deserves a move away. Ended up being Juventus to provide the top transfer, a whole 250 million added to our budget. So we're going to need to make a number of signings. Starting with Jeremy Frimpong, another player born in Amsterdam. Since transferring to Bayer Leverkusen, he's seen his evaluation rise. He's at West Ham in this save, and we ended up having to spend 75 million to bring him in. But this is another right back with a very good potential. Turning towards outside of the top 5 leagues to bring in Octavian Popescu. I'm surprised he hasn't transferred away yet, which is why I wanted to sign him, especially with his contract expiring at season's end. This is arguably the best transfer that we've made. But as far as storylines, I wanted to bring in a player that was part of Ajax's 2019 Champions League semifinal run. He was included as part of a swap deal that we earlier declined, but now that he's moved away to Bayern and we're competing for a Champions League title, it had to be Donny van de Beek to see his return to Ajax. 40 million for this transfer, and another player who I believe had his contract expiring at season's end. While it would be amazing to go another season winning the Eredivisie, all focus will be on the Champions League. A couple of modifications to our starting 11. First off, Van de Beek takes over as captain for the club. Second, Bergwijn will be switching to a striker/center forward role. It's going to take him basically all season to make that position change, but hopefully he'll still be able to contribute good numbers for us. January 2027, and we are again at top of the Eredivisie, so I don't think we'll need to worry about that too much. Also, top of our Champions League group. It's us and Arsenal to advance the knockout stages. But the big surprise as we turn our attention toward the squad is Popescu going up +3 in his rating, taking over the left winger spot, despite Molinar also competing for that role. We'll get into the round of 16 of Champions League against Monaco, facing off against one of the former Eredivisie players that was typically up there with top goal scorers, that being Jesper Karlsson, who I heavily considered signing in this career mode. That signing didn't seem to help him out too much as we pick up a 2-0 result away from home. 3-0 at the Johan Cruyff Arena, and that means we'll face Barcelona in the quarterfinals. And this is where we're going to start to match up against a lot of former Ajax players, starting with Frankie de Jong, who is still at Barcelona in this save. There's a 0-0 scoreline in the first leg, but the second leg goes all the way to extra time and penalties, and let me tell you, this was some penalty kick shootout. We had to repeat the lineups, going past the goalkeepers and Broby scoring the winning penalty kick. Liverpool will be our opponents in the semi-finals, and they have managed to sign Matthijs de Ligt at the center back position. We ended up picking up a 2-0 result at Anfield, and the home leg ended 2-2. So we will finally reach the Champions League final after 6 seasons. Just reviewing all competitions, we ended up winning the Eredivisie, not losing a single match. Also winning the Oranje Beker, with Atletico Madrid defeating Manchester United in the Europa League final, and Dortmund defeating Anderlecht in the Conference League final. As we review some former players, we'll see that rematch against Wrench in the Champions League final. Antony reaching a 91 overall at Liverpool. Timber up to a 90 rating with Manchester United. Edson Alvarez also at Manchester United with an 87 overall. Lisandro Martinez making the transfer way to Barcelona and fulfilling an 85 rating. We've waited 6 seasons for this moment. Let's play this Champions League final against Juventus. There's actually some history with Juventus and Ajax in the Champions League. They've played each other twice in the final, with Ajax winning the 72-73 European Cup final 1-0, and then Juventus getting their revenge in 95-96, winning on penalties. But we will get the first goal in this fixture. It took until the 14th minute, and of course it had to be Berghuis to open up the scoring. Kind of an unusual sequence of events, but we'll take any goal that we can get as Juventus try to respond. An interesting transfer of Harry Kane, but Guendouzi ends up getting the long shot effort in the 31st minute. And we've got a match on our hands. It's the 34th minute, and off of a set piece, the corner kick delivered in falls outside the box to Kamara. We want to get this back in the box as soon as possible. Playing that pass in the middle. Bergwijn with the effort. That'll go off of the post and in. Our Dutch signing, making it all the way until season 6, now in a center forward role and thriving. We're still in the first half, and Kovacic at the right back position due to the bugs in FIFA 22 ends up finding Wrench, who started as a center midfielder. Maybe that decision paid off because it was a spectacular finish to find the equalizer. We'll make a substitution in the 59th minute, giving one of our youth academy players a chance, and immediately after that sub, it's going to be Pau Torres to give Juventus the lead. It is typically one of the most dangerous times off of a set piece when you're making a substitution. I felt like our players weren't fully marking up, and that is where momentum truly switched over. Juventus getting a 4th goal in the 75th minute. Unfortunately, we were unable to recover and get goals back, so we're going to fall in this Champions League final. Juventus take the lead in these head-to-head fixtures, and while I'm proud we finally got Ajax to this moment, we will be unable to end this rebuild with a trophy lift. With that said, another spectacular season from Berghuis, 33 goals, Popescu with 14 assists. Hope you all did enjoy this Ajax career mode. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and drop suggestions in the comment section with what other realistic rebuilds you'd like to see next.